Welcome to Movie Caps. Today I will show you a comedy film from 2007 titled Superbad. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Seth talks to his friend Evan on the phone about some streaming websites he's considering subscribing to. They weigh the pros and cons and Seth arrives at Evan's house to pick him up for school. It's their senior year and graduation is just around the corner. Because of this, Seth thinks he has every right to park his car in the faculty parking lot while he and Evan step into a gas station before school. Inside they inspect some of the naughty magazines and grab some snacks. They discuss Evan's crush on Becca and Seth's crush on Jules. They speculate that they may only have a short time left to lose their virginity before college, because they definitely don't want to show up at college as virgins. When they leave the gas station, a group of bullies, Jesse at the head of them, cut them off. Jesse lets them know that they aren't allowed to come to his graduation party and he spits on Seth. They walk away without a fight, humiliated. After class, Becca returns Evan's pen and asks him if he's going to Jesse's graduation party. He tells her that he's thinking about it, but has a lot of other fun stuff planned so he doesn't know if he's going to make it. She says she never sees him at any of the parties, so she just assumed he didn't go to any. In cooking class, Seth is upset because he doesn't have a partner and has to do all the work. The teacher tells him he can partner with Jules since her partner didn't show up that day. They have an incredible time baking together, and afterwards she invites him to a party she's having at her house that night. Seth tells Evan about the party and they both agree not to tell their other friend Fogel about it because he's really lame. Fogel shows up in their class and tells them that he's planning on getting a fake ID after school. Seth sees this as an opportunity to impress Jules and tells Fogel about the party so he can buy them drinks and make them look cool in front of the girls. He tells Jules that he's getting a fake ID and will be bringing drinks to the party. Seth is upset about Evan and Fogel both getting into the same school because Evan is his best friend and they had always planned on going to college together. At lunch, they continue talking about girls, and Evan calls him out about how disrespectfully he talks about Becca. Seth explains he doesn't like her because when they were in elementary school Seth compulsively drew pictures of dongs and one day Becca caught him in the act. She told the principal, who told his parents, who made him go see a counselor. After class Jules pulls Seth aside to make sure he's still going to bring drinks to the party. She gives him $100 and tells him the specific kinds of drinks that she wants. He assures her he'll be there with the drinks and leaves. Seth tells Evan about the situation and how he plans on impressing Jules with the drinks and getting her drunk enough for her to be interested in him. Evan tries to explain that Jules is just using him for the alcohol and isn't actually into him, but Seth convinces Evan that this is their chance to get laid before college. Evan talks to Becca about the party and tells her that he's going to be bringing alcohol. He offers to buy her some and she seems flattered. Seth and Evan wait for Fogel after school impatiently, and when he shows up, Seth is furious that Fogel has bought an incredibly fake-looking ID with just one name on it, McLovin, stating he's 25 years old and from Hawaii. Fogel assures them that the ID will work. They make their way back to Seth's car only to find that it has been towed from the faculty lot. Seth and Evan go back to Evan's house to get ready for the party and agree to pick up Fogel when he gets off work. Seth is unable to get his own clothes from his house because if he goes home he'll get grounded for the car being towed, and he can't wear any of Evan's clothes because they're too small. His only option is to wear some of Evan's dad's clothes. They take the bus to meet up with Fogel outside the grocery store he works at. Again, Seth is agitated by how fake the ID looks and says he'll just go inside the grocery store and steal the alcohol himself. Once inside, he's unable to keep himself from imagining all the different ways this situation could go wrong, and in the end he chickens out and returns to his friends in the parking lot. The three take another bus to a liquor store and give Fogel the money and a list of all the alcohol they'll need for the party. Fogel gets nervous and wants to bail, but Seth bullies him into following through. When Fogel goes to check out, he is assaulted by a man robbing the liquor store and the cashier calls the police. Seth and Evan assume the police have arrived to arrest Fogel for trying to use a fake ID and decide to dip. A man in the parking lot hits Seth. He offers to take them somewhere they can get alcohol if they promise not to report him to the cops. Seth and Evan agree and get in the car. In a liquor store, the officers question the cashier and then Fogel. They examine his ID and compliment McLovin on his badass name. Since he missed his bus, they offer to give him a ride. Seth and Evan arrive at the party the man was heading to and walk inside. Almost immediately, the man they arrived with is kicked out and beat up by the host because he wasn't invited. Seth and Evan decide to use the distraction to leave. When they get back inside, Seth suggests they take some of the liquor with them, but Evan doesn't think it's a good idea and bails. The cops escorting McLovin have to tend to police matters at a local bar and take him with them. Inside, There is a disorderly drunk and McLovin accidentally helps the cops catch him. The cops decide to celebrate by buying McLovin a few rounds of beers and giving him advice on how to pick up women. Seth gets caught up in the party while trying to snag some drinks and ends up dancing erotically with one of the women. After they're through, Seth walks into the living room where two men point out the period stain he has on his pant leg from dancing with the girl. Seth is disgusted and goes to the basement to try to wash the stain off. Evan uses one of the phones in the house to call Becca and make sure she knows he's still coming. While on the phone, several men enter and start taking some nose medicine. They mistake him for someone they've seen at a previous party and Evan plays along with them so he doesn't get in trouble. While in the basement, Seth stumbles upon a huge stash of drinks in the refrigerator and empties some nearby detergent containers and begins filling them up with alcohol. The cops continue drinking with McLovin until they get called to break up the house party that Seth and Evan are at. They take over a dozen beers with them on the road. When Seth comes back upstairs with the detergent containers, he's confronted by the host of the party. The woman Seth had been dancing with was the host's fiancée. A huge fight ensues and Seth and Evan are able to get away. Once on the road, Seth tells Evan he's angry at him for ditching him at the party and also for ditching him to go to college. Just then, the cops barrel down the street, drunk and with Fogel still in the car, and hit Seth. They hold Seth and Evan at gunpoint and attempt to turn the situation around to put the blame on the boys since they are underage and have alcohol. One of the cops writes up a witness report for Fogel to sign, making sure the cops don't get blamed for hitting Seth. After giving Fogel a cigarette to button him up, he exits the back of the car and sees that Seth and Evan are there. Evan makes a run for it to distract the cops while Seth and Fogel run in the other direction. The cops lose the boys and they meet back up. They still have the alcohol and realize they're only 3 blocks from the party. Just outside, the boys get into a small fight when Seth learns that Evan will be rooming with Fogel in college. Seth takes the alcohol and enters the party alone, where Jules spots him and lets everyone know he's there. They all celebrate Seth and he drinks a lot. One of Becca's friends approaches Evan and tells him that Becca is very drunk and has been waiting for him all night. Evan says it would be unethical to try to be physical with Becca while she's drunk, but her friend tells him it's fine if he's drunk too. He takes a bottle of liquor to the bathroom and works on getting himself drunk. Fogel spots the girl he's been staring at in school dancing in the living room and decides to dance with her and impress her with his fake ID. Once Evan gets drunk, he makes his way outside to Becca and they drink a little more before she leads him inside and upstairs to get a room. They try to massage each other, but Evan gets uncomfortable and says he's too drunk. Becca makes fun of him and then throws up, demanding that he go get her friend to take care of her. Seth finds Jules and asks her to talk with him outside. He makes a move to kiss her and she rejects him, explaining that she's completely sober and doesn't feel comfortable kissing him or doing anything else while he's this drunk. Seth gets upset that his plan hasn't worked out and passes out, accidentally smacking Jules in the eye with his head. The cops finally arrive to break up the party, threatening the teenagers with guns if they don't leave the property. Seth hears that the cops are there and immediately goes searching for Evan. Seth finds him passed out on the couch from drinking too much and picks him up and carries him out of the party. The cops go upstairs to find Fogel getting it on with the girl he was dancing with and the girl freaks out and runs away. The cops apologize for interrupting and explain that they knew his name wasn't actually McLovin the entire time but they wanted to prove to him and themselves that cops too can have fun. They ask Fogel for how they can possibly make up for their interruption and Fogel has them escort him from the party and put him in the back of the car so all the kids on the lawn will think he's cool. Evan wakes up while Seth is carrying him and they exchange apologies for their arguments over the course of the night. Evan invites Seth back to his place for a sleepover. They lay together on the floor in sleeping bags and tell each other that they'll be sad when it's time to leave for college. The boys exchange I love yous and pass out drunk. The next morning, Seth seems embarrassed, but Evan tries to smooth things over by asking if he wants to hang out instead of rushing back home. They agree to go to the mall together so Evan can get a comforter for his dorm in college. While at the mall, Seth and Evan run into Becca and Jules shopping together. Becca is there to buy a new comforter for Jules since Becca threw up on the one she already had. The 4 teenagers exchange awkward apologies and all seems to be forgiven. Jules suggests Seth comes with her so he can buy her some foundation to cover up her black eye. Evan and Becca decide to go shopping for comforters together. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this.